Greetings, my dear friends. This is Dreamweaver Mystics, as always. Today I want to talk about something we have touched on before, about signs, about synchronicity, about how the universe communicates with us, in what language it speaks, and why we so often miss its messages. Before I begin, I want to say, these are only my thoughts and guesses. I do not claim to know the truth. I am simply sharing what I have noticed over years of observation, and you decide whether to agree or to doubt. Have you ever noticed that sometimes the universe speaks to you, not with a voice, not with letters, but with signs? Coincidences that are hard to call random. You think about someone, and a few seconds later they text you. You turn on the radio and hear a song that has been stuck in your head all morning. You open a book to a random page and read the answer to a question that has been bothering you for weeks. Coincidence? Or a message? I think the universe is constantly talking to us. The question is not whether it speaks. The question is whether we know how to listen. What language does the universe speak? That is a complex question. It does not use words in the usual sense. It does not speak English. It does not speak Spanish. It does not speak Chinese. It speaks the language of synchronicity, the language of signs, the language of numbers, the language of coincidences. One of the most obvious languages is the language of numbers. We have already talked about this in the video Signs, Numbers, and Synchronicity. You look at the clock and see 11:11. You buy coffee and get 7.77 change. You drive behind a car with a license plate that repeats your birth date. Coincidence? Maybe. But maybe it is a hint. Maybe the universe is trying to get your attention. I personally have noticed 208 for many years. On clocks, on receipts, on bus numbers. I still do not know what it means, but I know it is not random. Numbers are the simplest language. They require no translation. They are understood by everyone. And they grab attention precisely because of their inexplicability. But the universe speaks not only through numbers, it speaks through billboards. You are driving through the city, thinking about a problem, and you look up at a billboard, and there is a phrase that answers your question, or a word you just said to yourself. Coincidence? What if it happens more than once? It speaks through songs on the radio. You get into the car with heavy thoughts. You turn on the radio, and a song plays that was important to you many years ago, or a song whose lyrics perfectly describe your situation, as if someone pressed an answer button. It speaks through articles on the internet. You scroll through your feed, not thinking about anything in particular, and you come across a headline that hits the mark, as if the algorithm knows more than you told it, or as if it is not the algorithm. It speaks through people who cross our path. You randomly meet someone in line, and a month later that person becomes your business partner, or your best friend, or your teacher. You walk into a cafe, sit at an empty table, and accidentally overhear a conversation that solves your problem. Here is what I have noticed. The more I pay attention to such coincidences, the more often they happen. As if the universe says, "Oh, you are listening? Then I will speak louder." But there is one problem. We do not know how to ask questions. We constantly think about things, but we rarely formulate them clearly. We worry, we stress, we doubt. But we do not tell the universe, I need a sign. I want to understand. And if we do not believe we will receive an answer. Maybe it is all about how we ask questions. A typical question sounds like, why is everything going wrong for me? Or, when will this finally end? That is a victim's question. It does not expect an answer. It expects a complaint. But there is another way. The way Gurdjieff wrote about. The fourth way. Self-remembering. Gurdjieff said that most people are asleep. They live like machines. They eat, work, talk, argue, love, but all of it happens automatically. They do not remember themselves. They do not realize who they are in each moment. To wake up, you need to practice self-remembering. Whatever you are doing, eating, walking down the street, washing dishes, talking to a friend, you must remember yourself. Be aware that you are here, that you exist, that you are observing what is happening. And when you are in that state, you can ask questions, real questions, not from the head, not from fear, not from desire, but from the silence within. And then the universe answers, not always immediately, not always as you expect, but it answers. But there is another way, more direct, through thoughts. What if the universe speaks to us through our own thoughts? What if that idea that suddenly came into your head is not your idea? What if someone put it there? Many years ago, I read a book that turned my consciousness upside down. It is called Conversations with God. The author is Neale Walsch. This book is not scripture, not a prophecy. It is simply a dialogue. A man asks questions and God answers. Through thoughts, through feelings, through experience. Walsch wrote this book during the darkest period of his life. He had no money, no job, no hope. He wrote an angry letter to God. And suddenly, he realized he was receiving an answer. Not a voice from heaven, but thoughts that came into his head but did not sound like his usual thoughts. They were wiser, kinder, deeper. He started writing them down, and that is how the book was born. One of the main ideas of this book is that God speaks to everyone, all the time. But we do not listen. We are busy. We are distracted. We consider our thoughts ours and do not allow the possibility that someone might be speaking through us. What if that is true? What if the universe, or God, or higher consciousness, call it what you will, speaks to us through our thoughts, through intuition, through sudden insights, through the inner voice that we so often ignore? Then signs are not external events. They are internal hints that are reflected outward. You think about someone and they call. It is not a coincidence. It is synchronicity. Your thought and their action coincided in time because you are both connected to the same field. You feel that you should not get on that train, and later you learn it was in an accident. That is not paranoia. That is knowledge. Access to information that has not yet manifested in the physical world. We all possess this ability, but we do not train it. We drown it out with noise, television, social media, the endless stream of news. We have stopped hearing ourselves, and therefore we have stopped hearing the universe. In Conversations with God, there is a phrase that stuck with me. Your life is not what happens to you. Your life is what you pay attention to. We do not get what we ask for. We get what we pay attention to. If you constantly think about problems, you will only see problems. If you look for signs, you will start noticing them. The question is not whether the universe sends signs. It does. The question is whether you are ready to see them. I suggest a simple experiment. Over the next week, try to pay attention to coincidences. Write them down. When you think of someone and they call, when you see a strange number, when you stumble upon the right article, when you accidentally hear the answer to your question, see how often it happens. You will be surprised. And one more thing, learn to ask questions, not to complain, not to whine, but to actually ask, clearly, without fear. What do I need to understand? Where should I go? What am I doing wrong? And allow yourself to hear the answer. It may not come immediately. It may not come in words. It may come as a feeling, as an image, as a dream, as a random phrase from a stranger. But it will come. I do not know if God exists. I do not know if the universe has consciousness. I do not know if higher powers speak to us. But I know that when I started paying attention to signs, my life changed. I became calmer. I became more confident. I started being in the right place at the right time more often. Maybe it is just psychology. Maybe it is the expectation effect. Maybe I am creating these coincidences myself. Or maybe I finally started listening. And that is all for today. This was Dreamweaver Mystics. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and hit the notification bell so you do not miss new videos. Your support means a lot to me. And write in the comments, has this happened to you? You thought about someone and they called? You saw a strange number? You received an answer to a question through a random article or song? Share your story. I am genuinely interested. I read everything. Until next time. And remember, the universe is speaking to you right now. The only question is, are you listening?